To stop. Yeah, and if you don't like it, you better take your ass up to the snooty box, because this is the loud spot. Okay, see you later.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Loud Spot. I'm your host, Sebastian, right out of Oklahoma City. I got my co-host with me tonight, the Southern Flame, Don McIntyre, in the house from Alabama, and we are hanging out with Mr. Rich, and I hope I say this right. Is it Beddoe?
It's Beddoe, but Beddoe works too.
Beddoe is Rich Beddoe. In my head, it's always Beddoe. I should have asked you that before we started recording, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I didn't ask you how to say it.
That's all right.
So you are a drummer, and you have been in some awesome bands, and I do want to talk at least about 3 of them. But I do want to ask you though, man, congratulations! You've had quite a year. I've seen on Facebook. I think you had a newborn. Is that right?
Yeah, he's like 15 months now. But yeah, my first child. It's been a trip, man. It's amazing.
And you got married. Did you get married not so long ago? Also,
a couple years ago now. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Life's been full.
That's awesome. That is so awesome, man. So you were originally from Canada, correct?
Yeah, originally from the Toronto area, and I moved down here to Michigan about 3 years ago or now. So now I'm just outside of Detroit. So yeah, I made the move, becoming an American. I mean, I'm always going to be a Canadian, but I'll have a green card now.
Hey.
It's so crazy.
I'll still say "hey" at the end of sentences.
Hey.
Hey.
Nice, nice, man. So the first band I do want to talk about, and we'll probably talk throughout the show about, is a band called Finger 11, which you were the drummer for that band from, I believe, like the late 90s to like the 2012, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I guess like 97 till, I don't know when it ended, but yeah, 2012, 13, that sounds about right.
Dude, one of my favorite albums ever, like growing, like I guess I was already kind of in high school or after high school, was Greatest of Blue Skies album.
Oh, cool.
That was that one song. I don't remember the name of the song, but there was one song on there that really just caught my attention. It's like, it's biting, it's bleeding, or whatever. However that
Drag You Down.
That was like,
Drag You Down.
Yeah, dude. I heard that song and I was like, who is this band? And that was it for me. That was like my introduction to Finger 11. And I always thought, and I'm probably wrong, I always thought that Finger 11 was a Christian rock band, but I don't think that's the case anymore. Or is that true?
No, it was never a Christian rock band. No, not at all. I mean, we toured back in the day with Creed quite a bit. So I don't know, maybe it got, lumped in with that maybe in your thoughts. But yeah, no, we were never any sort of religious affiliated band. We were just straight up rock and roll band, man.
Okay, yeah. I think it was because on the Greatest of Blue Skies, isn't there like a cross on the album cover that's like getting dragged?
Yeah. Well, you know what it is? It's like a puppeteering cross, though. It's like a guy, a puppet pulling his own. I don't know what the name of that is, but the thing that controls it. So it's not a cross, but it's I guess it's the same shape as one. But I don't know what the word for that thing is. That manipulates the puppet, whatever that's called.
So I better make a public apology to every single person I lied to, saying, check out this cool Christian rock band I just found.
Hey, you know what, man? I'm a spiritual dude, so yeah, it's all good.
The song that drug me in was Paralyzed. Yeah. I'm sorry, my lag. Yeah, Paralyzed drug me in.
Sure. Yeah, that was the one. Well, that one got a lot of people, a lot of attention to the band. But that was like, 5 records into our career. So we had a whole lot of non-hits before Paralyzer. So it was nice. 10, 15 years into it to finally get one was good.
But once you say that one song that dragged you in, you go back and you research the rest of the music, and that's how people discover you.
That's
so
true.
that was
and you know, that album, right? That album that you're referencing, Grace of Blue Skies, for some reason, that one was always, especially like with a lot of other band guys and stuff, that was really a special record. I don't know, you know, maybe just the time that it was made, what else was coming out at that time, but yeah, a lot of guys that we've met over the years have like referenced that record as, you know, an important one in their band or whatever was going on in their lives. So it was a cool, man. When we made that album, we were so young, but looking back on it, I think it might be my favorite now throughout all of it, just because, you know, there's something about it that when I hear it, I can tell we're still like young and excited and sort of green, and that angst that's on the record, you know, it's cool. And it's a great sounding record. Arnold Laney that produced that record. It still sounds really great.
For sure.
So.
Yeah, and the style definitely changed from that album to when it came out Paralyzed. The style of music, you guys had to change, but you know, the record labels get involved and production gets involved, and it's all about making money, and you know, who knows, but the style's changed, but you guys still had a very like unique, hard, kind of a hard rock sound that I loved with Finger 11. Now, you personally, when did you start playing the drums, and what got you into music?
Well, just to go back 1 second, I got to say, definitely with our band, we never had any like record company influence.
Oh, good.
Because we would have been dropped years ago. Because like I said, we didn't have any hits. So I mean, that was the sound just sort of evolved with us with age. But you know, we were lucky to never have. I think when you have like a big hit for a first record, then I think maybe the record guys they want to recreate that. But because we didn't really have that. All the sound of our band just sort of grew with us, you know. So I can thankfully say that was never the case. It just sort of morphed with our age. But yeah, I started playing drums when I was like 9, 10 years old or something. Started playing in bands right away. I was like writing songs and working in original bands from I think like the 7th grade or something. Always with that intention and dream to sort of, you know, to make it one day. So. Yeah, it was cool, man. I started playing with a lot of older guys when I was really young. In the town that I lived in, you know, I guess there weren't a lot of drummers, so
there's never a lot of drummers.
You know, hard to find a good drummer.
It is. It's super hard to find. Okay, now I kind of want to go back to what you said, though. So, so then, do you know? Because you know, I've never been in a band that's made like super big. I've been in bands, but no one that's been ever mainstream ever, like or even close. Right. When you said that, you know, you guys were really influenced by producers and the industry, do you personally know, Sam, you've played with a bunch of bands, do you personally know people that the record labels did influence their sound and what they put out there after their first album came out?
I'm sure I do along the way. You know, you have conversations with people, you know, nothing that really jumps out of my memory, but I think every band has a different trajectory of their career. It just depends what band signed to what labels. You know, you might, if you sign to a big, huge, you know, back in the day Atlantic Records or something, they're going to want to have hits. So they're going to be really part of the process of making a record. But we signed to a much smaller label back then called Wind Up Records. And they only had Creed before us. That was the only other band. They just started, and their first band was Creed. Wow. So we were sort of allowed to, you know, we had a lot more freedom to do what we wanted. And because our first record didn't have any hits, we were able to make a second and a third record where if we were on a big major label, you know, we never would have had that chance. They would have dropped us right away. So it was cool to be on a smaller label. It took a little longer to get things going with the band, but I mean, we were allowed to continue to make records and to have a career until finally, you know, we got a song on the radio. So, but yeah, I'm sure some guys have told me stories over the years about, you know, them doing what they didn't want to do, but I don't remember specifically who.
Right.
A bunch. Sure, there's a bunch.
Yeah.
But you were still doing what you loved, and you got to enjoy the process, even though you weren't mainstream on the radio. It was still your passion.
Oh yeah.
So,
oh man, you know, it was awesome. I mean, and the thing about our band in Canada, we really right out of the get-go had like a lot of success in Canada. So even though in the States we were still growing very slowly. We were able to tour Canada, and every song that came out up there did really well on the radio. So we were as time went on, able to like, spend a few months up there a year, make a little bit of money to pay our bills, and then spend the rest of our year being down the States and, slugging it out in a van and trailer. So we were kind of, it was lucky to have like our home country was always there to sort of support us, like kind of financially in the beginning, where we could make a bit of money, and then come back down here when there was really no money to be made at a band at our level back then. But so, it was kind of cool that we could sort of jump back and forth across the border and make it work, where a lot of bands didn't get that option. That it was like, you put out one song, if it doesn't work, you're done, you're dropped. So we had pretty cool, and the other nice thing about it was that it happened slow. So we were able to enjoy it as it went. We didn't come out with like a tour bus and a bunch of crew and all big lights and everything. We started really small in a van with just like, I think a sound guy and a guitar tech with us, one hotel room a night. I mean, we traveled like that for years and years and years till eventually we could afford like a shitty old bus. Then it morphed, to a better bus, and there was like a couple of hotel rooms. So throughout that, it was like a bunch of years along the way, but we were able to appreciate it as we went, because it didn't come overnight.
Right. Well, Sebastian and I have actually had has had some interviews with others that the experience was totally opposite from that. That Canada was not as supportive, but when they come to the States, they got more support. So it's glad to hear that you did have that support there.
It probably depends.
There's a lot of bands.
Go ahead.
There's a lot of bands from Canada. That's okay. A lot of bands from Canada have had some great success over the years down here. I mean,
right.
We kind of came up with a lot of, especially like Nickelback, of course. We knew those guys when we were all playing bars together in Canada, small bars, and Our Lady Peace and Sum 41 and Simple Plan, and there's a bunch. We were all back then. It was cool. I mean, we all still are friends, but only a few of us really, for whatever reason, it worked over here in the States. For some reason, there was a lot of Canadian bands that were very popular there that just, for whatever reason, people, there's a band called the Tragically Hip from Canada that their singer has since passed away, but I mean, they're like a legendary Canadian band. They would sell out every hockey arena, like throughout the country. Like they could do 3-4 nights at every hockey arena, but down here they would play at like a 500 seater and barely fill the place. It's weird, man, because it's so close. The border's right there, but there's just some bands that are like the Canadian bands, and then they just do not work in America. I don't know why.
It is so weird because it's like it's literally like just right there, across the border.
It's right
like,
there. It's
so
especially where I live, like just outside of Detroit here. I could literally, throw a rock across the water, and I'd be in Canada. It's like literally right there. But there's not a lot of big differences, but there are some musically for sure. But we were lucky to always, be able to tour down here and have the support. And we had an American record contract or company as well. So their focus was to get us going here. So it was cool, man.
So since you've been in, and we're going to talk about some of the other bands you've been in, but playing music and starting, getting a lot of traction, especially like in the early 2000s, and then seeing today in 2021, do you see a big shift in the music industry when it comes to rock music, as far as bands getting signed and how much money they can make and so on?
Yeah, man, it seems like nowadays more than ever, a band can kind of do it on their own, just with the use of social media. And it's amazing. I see bands now and they really are growing everything, from the ground up without any help from anybody else. And back in the day, that was, almost impossible to do. So as much as things have changed, and, of course, we all know the story about bands not selling records anymore, but throughout that all, bands have found ways to, do everything on their own, make money their own way. So it's been cool to see, man, but it's different. But at the end of the day, it's still that same story of guys getting together and starting a band and trying to get a song on the radio and going out and playing shows. I mean, that sort of, that tale of rock and roll has always been the same. It's just, just changes throughout time a little bit.
Yeah, man.
Process. Yeah.
And then, okay, so the other band I want to talk about is Saint Asonia, right? Yeah. So you were in that band for how long? How long were you with them for?
I don't know, if maybe 4 or 5 years. I think it was right after me and Adam, the singer from that band, is the singer from 3 Days Grace. Okay. When he left 3 Days Grace to start something new, was right around the time I was sort of, nearing the end of my time with Finger 11. And, we both sort of started that band. And then at the same time, Mike Mushak from Stained, their band were taking a little break because their singer was going to do some country stuff, Aaron. And so it was just good timing. Everyone kind of had some free time and was able to do that. And, went and made that record. It's a cool record, man. I'm really proud of it. And that was a really, it was a great bunch of years. We got to travel the whole world, places that I'd never gone to with Finger 11. So it was really great. Another chapter of my story for sure that I definitely am grateful for.
Do your next door neighbors know that you've toured the world and played in a bunch of awesome bands? Do your neighbors know that?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe some do. I mean, yeah.
Come over, grab some.
I don't think not in a weird way. If they do, it's not like a weird. It probably would come up naturally and stuff. But I'm sure some do and some don't.
I'll be walking around telling everyone, I used to be in a really good band, by the way. I'll tell, I'm that kind of guy. I'm that kind of guy.
Right, Sebastian's ego.
I know. I tell everyone about my podcast everywhere I go. By the way, I got a podcast. Check it out. That's what I do. But I guess once you've been there and done that, you don't care as much. I'm still in the beginning phases of caring, I guess.
I definitely am still. The next thing I'm excited about. So we'll see. I guess I want to tell people more about the present than the past.
Yeah. So okay. So what do you have going on now musically? Are you joining? Are you in talks with other people about starting another project?
Drum roll.
I am. Yeah. Well, there's a band from Detroit that I was working with for about a year. The name of their band's No Resolve. I did a bunch of music videos with them. And they're really cool guys. It's a really cool band. It's just that sort of the things that they're doing, the path that they're on. I had kind of a different, I kind of want to do something a little different, but it was a really cool year spending with them and sort of, learning, hanging out with some new guys. And they're one of those bands that are doing things a lot differently than I had done before. They're doing everything themselves. They're generating their fans through TikTok and stuff like that. It was really interesting to see the way they're doing it. But just for me, I was sort of looking to do something a little different than they were doing. But the last year I was working with those guys. So coming into the new year, there are a few things coming up that, that we'll see how it all pans out. I'm not sure exactly, what will become of what, but I'm excited, man. There'll definitely be some new ventures coming in the new year.
Rich.
Fingers crossed.
Give us a teaser.
A teaser. If I give a teaser, I'll jinx it. I don't want to jinx anything.
Don't jinx it.
Okay,
I definitely have
fingers crossed.
Plans. Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah, I definitely hope to be doing some stuff into the new year, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Time will tell.
Right on, man. And what would you say some of your favorite tours are? Because I know like you said, you've played with Creed. You played with a bunch of awesome bands. You guys played a Vans Warped Tour, in the past. Do you have one that you would say is kind of one of your most memorable kind of on-stage performance or just a fun experience in general?
With Saint Asonia, we did the final tour with Motley Crue in Europe. Their last bunch of shows they did. It was us, Alice Cooper, and Motley Crue. So that was pretty amazing. Alice Cooper was amazing every night. They were all such great guys, and Motley Crue was a band that I grew up, absolutely idolizing. So to go out with them, was one thing, but to go out with them on their final run of shows, which I know now they're coming back. At the time, we thought it was their final shows, but we got to go all through Europe with those guys. Going to Russia was really an amazing experience.
Cool.
I've been really lucky to tour with a lot of really cool bands over the years, so it's hard to pick one, but if I had to, I'd say that Motley Crue one was pretty memorable for sure.
And still living the dream, traveling the world.
Yeah. Well, hopefully again soon. Yeah. Right now, me traveling the world is me running from my living room back to the kitchen, chasing my son around. That's what I'm doing right now. It's more work than traveling in a band.
But we're manifesting that. We're going ahead and claiming
We're manifesting
that
something. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's good. It's good taking a break, especially having a newborn or not really even newborn anymore. I guess 15 months. So he's running all around the house, I'm sure, right now, and his curiosity. I'm sure he's grabbing things, and he's probably getting to that stage where he's saying no.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the age yet. I got a 6-year-old, so I haven't really totally forgotten yet. But it's tough being a parent, man. I bet your wife would be pretty pissed off if you have to go and be like, I'll be gone for 2 months going on tour.
But yeah, that's been a huge thing, but also, something I'm pretty vocal about too is like going through a recovery process. I went through a lot of addiction with alcohol and drugs and mental health stuff. And the last few years, that's been like a huge focus of mine, really getting my life back together and focusing on, sobriety and all that stuff. But so I don't think I wouldn't be able to do anything into the future had I not have had that time to stop, get the help I needed at first, and then just sort of relearn to take all this stuff with a sober state of mind. Because like a lot of guys, over the years, it just got worse and worse and worse. And especially in music and stuff, it's somewhat accepted and pushed on, so if you're already an addict, coming from an alcoholic family like myself, it was just sort of a ticking time bomb for me. So, everything's happened the way it's happened for a reason, but the big part of this last few years was getting myself back healthy, getting sober, trying to help other people get sober and stay sober. So that's really, being a dad and being a husband, and the recovery stuff's been really on the top of my list right now.
So focused and healing, that's power. So you're taking your power back.
Is it easy to get lost?
Yeah, it does feel like that.
Is it easy to get lost, being in a rock band and touring, just to even being sober, going on the road so quick afterwards? Do you get scared sometimes for yourself, thinking if you're around those kinds of things that it's going to be easy to fall back into some of the same old patterns that you went through in the past?
Yeah, I would have in the beginning. I think now, like we were talking about things into the future, it would have to be something that was all, involved in a healthy place. That'd have to be whatever I'm doing in the future would have to be something healthy. And I'm 45 years old now, going out with a bunch of 20-year-olds on tour and partying like 20-year-olds, just, I have no interest in that. And, so yeah, whatever happens in the future needs to be based on where I am now in my life and the way I'm living, and there's a lot of people like myself that have gone through this and aren't, continuing on better and bigger than ever. A lot of guys I know are sober now and touring, and it just, you can do that shit for a long time, but eventually, if you're still, I've been on the road for over 20 years, eventually something is going to crack, and it's going to end you, or which it did, for me for a second, or, you fix what needs to be fixed and you get better, and then you get back out there, hopefully better than ever. That's what I plan on doing.
Well, Chris Kyle from Five Finger Death Punch is a huge
good friend of mine
to me. With his,
I was on the phone with him 2 hours ago.
That is wonderful. Tell him we said hello. But yeah, he's a great inspiration for that.
That has to be good. That has to be a great feeling to have people that are supportive in what you're trying to do, that are in the same industry that you're into work-wise, because it is a job, So it's nice to be able to lean on your peers for talk and advice and to help, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, we got a huge group of guys, Chris being one of them, that that are, like you guys said, everyone's got each other's backs. Everyone talks. Almost every day we're in different recovery programs together, and we literally, a bunch of us are on the phone together every single day talking and awesome. Doing what we do, to stay healthy. So Chris is an amazing guy, man. And there's a reason he's so successful, and he's a strong-minded guy, amazing musician, just an awesome, awesome human being.
His catchphrase, shit yes, son.
Shit yes, son. That's right.
Dude, you know what? I do want to ask. I'm going to change the subject a little bit. It is important to talk about mental health and drug addiction. And so more power to you, man, and everyone going through what you're going through. More power to everyone who's struggling through this, and stay strong, man. But I do want to shift focuses a little bit because we don't have a whole lot of time left.
Of course.
I always wondered what it would be like to play like on a late night TV show where you're in a band. And now, were you able to play? Was it the Jay Leno show?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I did Jay Leno show 3 or 4 times, I think, over the years, and I got to do Jimmy Kimmel and Craig Ferguson show, and a bunch of those. So yeah, I definitely had those experiences, and they're definitely memorable. I got a picture right up here sitting at Jay Leno's desk. So.
That's awesome.
How now is all the different shows with Jimmy Kimmel and Jay Leno and Craig Ferguson, who was, I don't even know if he still has his late night show, but he was fun. I thought he was hilarious.
He was good. Yeah, he was.
Are the shows different from one another as far as, because the band played like it wasn't really a band interview, it was more of a playing one of your songs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just performing.
Are the shows different? Each one as far as their production goes and where they want you and all those kinds of things?
Well, obviously, you do them at like 3:00 in the afternoon. You're shooting them earlier than they're on TV. But they all seem to be kind of ran the same way. You get there. You're waiting around in a dressing room and waiting, for them to tell you to get on and do it. It's nerve-wracking doing those things. I never did them enough in my life where that became normal or comfortable.
Right.
It was always kind of scary. Probably the one that was the freakiest was with Finger 11. We did the Miss USA show, and we played Paralyzer on the show, but it was on live television, and there was over 1 billion people around the world watching.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
With a B, 1 billion people live.
Yeah.
That's intimidating.
So where those late night shows, they're pre-recorded. Like I said, like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. That one was like, we're going to roll your drum riser out. As soon as you start that song, there's a fucking 1 billion people watching you. Don't drop the fucking stick.
Right. You don't want to mess up.
No pressure.
Yeah.
No pressure.
And it was the part of the show where the girls were doing the swimsuit portion of the show. So it was like, Miss South Carolina, and the girls are all coming out in their bikinis and we're in the background playing. So there was a lot of distractions. The whole thing was just absolutely nerve-wracking. I was really glad when it was over. It's cool now to say I did that, but at the time it was fucking terrifying.
Dude, I can only imagine what that would be like. And do you get to hang out with some of the guests on the show? Like, after the show's over, did everyone just go back to their rooms and then everyone leaves? Or is there like an after cocktail party or, hang out with the guests?
Well, Jimmy Kimmel had like a bar at the back of his studio that everyone hung out at. It's kind of like it was like a big social place that everyone basically got fucked up in after you did the show. But the other shows we did, I think we did one with Sylvester Stallone, and Katie Holmes was the guest on one. So a few of them I walked over in their rooms and knocked and said hello. But they didn't know who the fuck we were. We were just some rock band.
Like, what the fuck do you want, dude? Leave me alone.
Yeah. I think I got a picture with Katie Holmes just to say I got a picture with Katie Holmes, but
Awesome.
yeah, they weren't there for us.
Get your camera phone ready. Get it. Knock on the door. As soon as you open the door, say cheese, and then click it. They're not even prepared for it.
That's what it was. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, I bet you are excited about your family, young family that you have, and I bet you're excited to get back on the road eventually, someday soon, and get back to playing music as your main gig, man. You're an awesome drummer. You've been in some amazing bands, dude. You met some amazing people,
thanks,
and I appreciate you coming on the show. Don, do you have any last questions for him, or?
I don't. I just send you all the love. I look forward to hearing new things for you. We're manifesting, remember?
Thank you so much. Manifesting.
Congratulations.
I appreciate that, you guys. Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming on. I definitely appreciate that. I do want to thank everyone who listens to The Loud Spot. Check us out on YouTube or www.theloudspot.net. You can go to our Patreon page, patreon.com/The Loud Spot. $3 a month really does help us out. And don't forget to subscribe to everything we got. And you can hear us on every podcasting platform. That's all we got for tonight's show. Rich, thanks again for being on here. Peace out.
Thank you so much.
And by the way, go check out all of his old bands that he's been in. They're absolutely amazing. And when he does something new, I want to be sharing it. Believe that. Peace out.
You guys will be the first to know.
Okay, we'll be the first to know. All right.
Yeah,
Third time's the charm. Peace out. Rock on.
That's right.
Much love.
Much love. All right, here we go.
Cheers, guys.
I got
Thank
my
you.
outro.
Thank you, love.
This is the Loud Spot outro by nothing short of tragic. Is this all talk with no action? No. Is this my thoughts with distraction? No. Is this what I bought that's in fashion? Or is this the Loud Spot with Sebastian? Yes. Does nothing short of tragic have us back again? Yes. Does anything that's good really have to end? Yes. A pin post has to pin show, so to get more episodes, make an order, this is over.
Thanks for watching our video. Don't forget to click the like and share button.
Don't forget to go to our YouTube and subscribe.
If you want to listen to our audio and pick up some cool merch, go to www.theloudspot.net. Peace out. Rock on. Much love.